Greetings to all. I hope you all are well. Students, we were doing chapter number 1 of class 9th history, that is the French Revolution. And in the classroom, we had covered topic number 1 as and some part of topic number 2. So firstly, before proceeding with topic number 2, we will do the recapitulation of what we had done till now. And then we will continue with topic number 2. Okay, students? So let's start. The topic 1. Till now in the chapter French Revolution, you had seen that the chapter started with the introduction that a crowd had gone to a building and it stormed that building. The name of the building was the Bastille, which was the fortress prison. And the date on which it was stormed, it was broken, was the 14th July 1789. Remember, this was very important date because this was the date 14th July 1789 when the French Revolution began. Okay, so then our topic number 1 was the French society during the early 18th century. For understanding this incidents, why this storming of the Bastille took place, it is important, as I told you, that it is important to know about the French society at that time during the 18th century. 18th century, which type of the society was there in France? So you had seen that the French society was divided into 3 estates, into 3 classes. In the first estate there was the clergy, then the nobility, and the third estate consists of the peasantry, businessmen, and all other professors, teachers, doctors, all these people. Okay. And one more thing, you had seen that the time period before this date, 14 July 1789, the time period before this date, this was the date when the French Revolution began. Okay, the regime before this was known as the old regime in France, while the time period after this was known as the new regime. Regime means better the time period. Okay? And students, you have seen first thing that the French society was divided into 3 estates. Apart from that, we have studied that why the storming of the Bastille took place, because when Louis XVI, who was the monarch of France at that time, came to the throne, he found the empty treasury in France, and that's why for getting the treasury full, what it did, it called the meeting of the State General. And you all are aware that Louis XVI cannot himself increase the taxation. That's why he called the meeting of the State General. And in that meeting, the third estate people demanded that the voting should be done not by the state, one state, one vote. In a state, they demanded one person, one vote. And on this issue, the third estate representative leave the meeting and they went to the tennis court, and there they took up the oath by declaring themselves as the National Assembly. National Assembly. They said that we form the majority of the French population. That's why we are the National Assembly. They said themselves to be the National Assembly and took up the oath that we will not leave the place till we draft a constitution for the France. So who were there in the National Assembly? The people of the third estate. They went to the tennis court. And this incident was known as the tennis court oath. All these things you had studied earlier also. This is just the recapitulation. Apart from that, you had also studied the causes behind the French Revolution, the economic crisis which were there. Apart from that, you had also seen the role of the educated middle class which emerged during this time. and that they were exposed to the modern ideas of the equality, liberty, all these things. And you had studied about the French philosophers like the Montesquieu, Rousseau, John Locke. They had given the new ideas to the people, and all these things became the causes behind the French Revolution. Okay. Then we move to topic number 2. Topic number we had also done some part of the topic number 2. See student, this is topic 2, the outbreak of the revolution. In this you had seen that why the revolution took place. There was the economic crisis, there was the increase in the population of France, and but the food resources were limited. Because of that, there was the food crisis, which was said to be the subsistence crisis. Sorry beta, I have some problem in my throat, that's why I'm trying to speak louder. The voice I hope is audible to you all. Okay, we were doing that. There was a food crisis which you studied as the subsistence crisis, which was there, due to which there was a kind of unrest situation in France. Okay, all these things were happening in the front. The people were on the ration shop in a queue. I am waiting for their turn to get the ration. All these things were going on in the city of Paris, all over the France. And during that time, the National Assembly people were busy in drafting the constitution, remember. Okay, till now here we have studied. Now beta, we will continue with the August 4 decree. Okay, August 4th decree. What was there in the August 4th decree? When on 14 July, when the Bastille was stormed, it was broken, and the people all over the France came on the road. Then in such a situation, the Louis XVI, who was not ready to accept this National Assembly people to be the official one, to be the National Assembly of the country, now accepted the National Assembly. It gave its legacy. Louis XVI accepted the National Assembly. Okay, and then what it started, Louis XVI, it means that Louis XVI was ready to accept the demands of the National Assembly people. So a decree means a kind of a rules were issued by the National Assembly on the date 4th August, which were named in the history as the August 4 decree. Okay, August 4 decree में क्या हुआ था, जब कि लुई 16 ने मान लिया था नेशनल असेंबली को एज द नेशनल असेंबली, तो उन्होंने एक डिक्री पास की. There were certain points in August 4 decree. You can see all these things from beta. Here we are on. देखो, this picture show you the tennis court oath. Okay, and now I am on this last para. Okay, so in the classroom we had done till here. यहाँ तक हमने कर लिया था. और this thing I told you कि this is back to the starting of the chapter. The reason behind the storming of the Bastille. अब हम यहाँ से start कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, here is the August 4 decree. August 4, on the day of the August 4, the decree, a set of rules were passed by the National Assembly. What were the rules? First thing which was did by them was that they abolished the feudal privileges. Feudal privileges were abolished. It means that feudal privileges, जो nobility जो थे, the people who were the nobility, they owned a lot of land. तो उनके जो भी privileges थे, the privileges to collect the tax, ये सब जो है उनके खत्म हो गए थे. ठीक है, you know ना, first two states were the privileged one. They were exempted from all kind of the from paying all kind of the taxes, and even they took up the taxation from the third state. So according to the August 4 decree, this privilege was taken from the feudal, from these noble class. Second thing was which was there in August 4 decree was that the church, the privileges of the church was also taken up. The third thing, the taxation took up by the church, that was the name of the tax was the tithe. it was also abolished. Now church no more can was allowed to took up the taxation, and the land which was owned by the church was also confiscated. And all these privileges when taken up from the first and the third estate, this resulted that there was um, the treasury of the France was empty. There was the burden of the means they had taken the loan, so they had a loan burden of the 2 billion livres livre 2 billion livre tax burden was there on France. So by confiscating the property of the first and the second estate, now the emperor was able to get this much of amount. 2 बिलियन लेवरी का जो उनके ऊपर कर्जा था वो उनके पास आ गया था, ठीक है। और ये डिक्री जो थी, जो ये रूल्स थे जिन्होंने सारे प्रिविलेजेस फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड स्टेट्स के खत्म किए थे, एबॉलिश किए थे, दिस डिक्री वॉज पास बाय द नेशनल असेंबली। स्टार्टिंग में आपने देखा नेशनल असेंबली जब टेनिस कोर्ट में गई, किंग रेडी नहीं था उनकी डिमांड्स को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए, ठीक है। लेकिन जब कंट्री के हालात देखे तो किंग एक्सेप्टेड द नेशनल असेंबली टू बी द असेंबली ऑफ द नेशन एज द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ द नेशन, ठीक है। और जब किंग ने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, देन द डिक्री अ सेट ऑफ रूल वॉज पास बाय द नेशनल असेंबली, और उसमें जो है ये सारी चीज़ें जो फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड स्टेट्स के राइट्स थे वो एबॉलिश किए गए। और जब वो एबॉलिश हुए, देन दे वर एबल टू गेट दैट मच ऑफ द ट्रेजरी, जो उनके ऊपर जितना लोन था वो सब उससे उतर जाए, इतना पैसा उनके पास आ गया। ओके, टिल नाउ वी हैव डन till page number 8. Now in the next video beta we will start with topic number 2.1, that is France became the constitutional monarchy. Thank you all.